Welcome back to CarVerse, everyone. If you're new here, this is where we break down the latest rides, concepts, and everything in between from the world of cars. And today, oh boy, we've got a wild one. We're talking about two American icons that have taken a seriously bold turn. The upcoming 2026 Chevy Camaro SUV and the brand new Dodge Charger Sixpack. Muscle cars have been flexing for decades on drag strips and boulevards, but now, muscle is going SUV? Let's dive into it. So first up, the Chevy Camaro SUV. I know. When you hear Camaro, you don't exactly picture a family-friendly crossover. You think about roaring V8s, tire smoke, and that classic long hood, short deck look. But Chevy is taking that Camaro nameplate into new territory. The 2026 model isn't just a rebadged family hauler, it's a performance-focused SUV that tries to carry the Camaro's DNA into a bigger, more practical package. The design is aggressive, sharp lines, low-slung stance for an SUV, and of course that familiar Camaro grille treatment up front. It almost looks like someone stretched a Camaro over SUV proportions, and honestly, it works better than you'd expect. Now, under the hood, this is where things get interesting. Chevy's moving toward electrification, but they're not abandoning enthusiasts completely. The Camaro SUV is rumored to launch with a hybrid setup, a turbocharged V6 paired with electric assistance. That means instant torque off the line and still plenty of muscle, even if it's not the traditional V8 we all grew up loving. And since it's an SUV, Chevy's giving it all-wheel drive capability. That means traction in bad weather and even a bit of off-road ability, though let's be real, most of these will spend more time at Costco than crawling rocks. Still, having that extra grip is a nice touch. Inside, Chevy really leveled up the Camaro SUV compared to the old coupe. If you've ever sat in a 6th-gen Camaro, you know visibility was, let's say, cozy. The SUV fixes that. Big windows, more space, and an interior that feels modern instead of cramped. We're talking a massive digital dash, upgraded. Infotainment with all the wireless goodies and plenty of room in the back for passengers or gear. This is Chevy's way of saying, hey, you can still have Camaro performance vibes, but also fit the kids and the dog. Pricing hasn't been confirmed, but early buzz puts it starting somewhere in the mid-50s and climbing up towards 70 grand if you load it up. That's competitive with stuff like the Mach-E GT, the Mustang Mach-E being the obvious rival here, though the Camaro SUV leans more into that muscular, aggressive aesthetic instead of pure EV futuristic vibes. But then, there's Dodge. You didn't think they were going to sit this one out, right? Enter the Dodge Charger Sixpack. Even the name sounds like it's been in the gym. Now, the Sixpack is Dodge's way of easing muscle fans into the new era without going full electric. Instead of a V8, you get a twin-turbo inline-6 hybrid setup. Yeah, it's not the legendary Hemi, but don't count it out. This thing still packs serious power. The hybrid assist means low-end grunt is instant, and Dodge is claiming it'll outrun the old V8s while also being way more efficient. Muscle car purists might cry foul, but numbers don't lie, and this thing is quick. Design-wise, the new Charger has that wide, mean stance we expect from Dodge. The six-pack badge is a throwback, but the rest of the car is futuristic muscle. Squared-off front end, bold LED lighting, and proportions that scream aggression. Unlike Chevy, Dodge hasn't gone SUV with this one. The Charger remains a four-door muscle machine, though it's more versatile than ever. And while it's not a lifted SUV, it still gets available all-wheel drive, which means year-round usability without sacrificing performance. Inside the Charger Sixpack, Dodge is giving us what feels like a cockpit. Big screens, chunky controls, and that muscle car attitude turned digital. You get driver-focused tech, a big center display, and plenty of ways to customize your driving experience. Think of it as old-school attitude blended with new-school tech. Now here's where the comparison gets spicy. The Camaro SUV versus the Charger Sixpack is kind of apples and oranges, but it shows where these brands are heading. Chevy's betting on practicality. giving the Camaro badge to a performance SUV that can appeal to families, commuters, and enthusiasts who still want some muscle flavor. Dodge, on the other hand, is doubling down on muscle heritage while modernizing it. They're saying, "We're not turning the Charger into a crossover. It's staying a car, but it's evolving under the hood." Performance-wise, the Sixpack might edge out the Camaro SUV just because it's lighter and more dedicated to being a performance car. But the Camaro SUV wins in versatility. It's bigger, more spacious, and offers that all-in-one package. One's like a sports car you can daily, the other's a daily that tries to give you sports car vibes. Compared to past models, both are massive departures. The Camaro Coupe might be on borrowed time, and this SUV could be its spiritual successor in Chevy's lineup. For Dodge, losing the Hemi V8 is monumental. It's the end of an era. But the Sixpack shows Dodge isn't abandoning muscle. They're just rewriting the formula. So which one makes more sense? Honestly, it depends on what you want. If you need space, versatility, and a family-friendly vibe without giving up performance, the Camaro SUV is your ticket. If you want pure muscle car, spirit with a modern twist, the Charger Sixpack is where it's at. Both signal a future where muscle cars aren't just about big engines and rear-wheel burnouts. They're adapting, surviving, and maybe even thriving in this new age. It's definitely bittersweet. We'll miss the screaming V8s and raw simplicity of old-school muscle. But at the same time, seeing brands like Chevy and Dodge reinvent their icons means the muscle spirit isn't dead. It's just wearing a new outfit. So what do you think? Are you on board with a Camaro SUV? Does the Charger Sixpack get a pass without a Hemi? Or do you feel like muscle should have stayed old school? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear it all. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to CarVerse for more car deep dives, and stay tuned, because this new era of muscle is just getting started.